Mm, 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 mm. What's up, man? Today is April the 9th, and it's Tuesday. Can't remember the last time I was on Tuesday Talk, but I do know that I had lost my book. Can't remember when I lost it at, but I was blessed to get a hold to some money to order a new one. So I missed a lot of days where I wasn't able to read some type of motivation. And what I can say is these last couple of weeks, my days has been hell. Yeah, I still been striving, still been positive, but days has been hell. Just off the words of encouragement, the little motivation, just knowing that God has spoke to me through a book to keep me motivated. But we gonna get into the topics because I'm at work, and before you know it, it's gonna be time for me to go deal with children again. So it's a sow obedience. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, this he will also reap. That is Galatians 6:7. Do you have a choice before you today? That is difficult. Obey God no matter how challenging it may be. At times, you will find that submitting yourself to the Lord's authority will involve choices that could result in rejection, loss, and hardship. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And it will require courage for you to do as He asks. However difficult your circumstances may be, respond to them with confidence in the one who empowers you to do His will. Has God ever made a mistake, been too late, or proven inadequate? No. Our Heavenly Father is always powerful and consistently faithful. You can trust Him to lead you in the best way. That's what I'm saying. It's another topic I'm going to talk about. Always remember that you will reap what you sow, more than you sow, and later than you sow. When you obey God, you will always get His best. He may take time, but you will see His provision. However, when you don't obey the Lord, life may seem easier temporarily, but eventually it will turn out to be much harder. So demonstrate your trust in God by complying with His will. When you do so, you will certainly reap the rewards He has designed for you in ways above and beyond your imagination. Jesus, I will obey you no matter how difficult it is. I always trust in how you lead me. Amen. So I'm gonna go backwards. And the point that pointed out at the end was he said, when you obey God, will always get you his best. It may take time, but you will see the provision. However, when you don't obey God, life may seem easier temporarily. A lot of us be wanting to talk about how things is at the moment, how things feel good temporarily, but when we not obeying him, how do we know that we are getting his blessings? Sometimes the blessings is after the hardship, is after the toughness, is after the trials. Sometimes you just gotta stay down. Like we be so focused on we want stuff to be easy. We want life to be easy. We wish stuff was easy. We wish we didn't have to. But it's power in the tongue. The more you complain, the more you nag about it, the longer it's gonna take. And that goes for me as well. I have to start making sure that I watch what I say. Because if I really believe in God and trust in Him, why am I saying those things anyway? The next thing, towards the end, it said, so demonstrate your trust in God by complying with His will. And always remember you will reap what you sow, which means reaping what you sow is you treating or you doing something for the good means you would get it back for the good. You do something bad, you would get it back for the bad. Sometimes you're doing something good, you might not get it back now, but later on, you would get it back 10 times better. So watch what you do and what you say and how you act because it ain't always for the good, especially when it's certain people that's trying to help you or certain people that God has put right there. The way you treat them, you go get it back worse if you treat them bad. If you treat them good and accept them, you go receive your blessings from them being in your life, and you go receive something greater because you listen to God's calling and God's people who tried to help you. Now, with the other two, I'm gonna read y'all what I was messaging last night. I just had a couple topics. It was facing fears, accepting the challenge. The more you run from your calling, the more God gonna make it where you have to call on Him and stop focusing on what you want and focus on what could help you. Facing your fears. We be so fearful of failing, so fearful of being hurt, so fearful of being lost, so fearful of being hurt, so fearful of not achieving, so fearful of not overcoming that what we don't realize is the more energy we put on those things, the less energy we could put in on overcoming and achieving those things. The more energy we put on worrying about not achieving or worrying about being hurt, we put less energy on making sure we do the opposite of those things. Accepting the challenge. We face a couple trials, a couple challenge, and now we saying it's too much, or now we saying we can't handle it, or now we saying I'm not doing this. But what you fail to realize is he don't put too much on you you can't handle. If he got this in your life, in your path, in your stuff for a reason, it's because he's trying to prepare you for later on when you have to face and deal with this again. It would be like taking candy from a baby. It would be a piece of cake. You would be well prepared for it. But if you can't accept the challenge now, you're going to have to deal with this same challenge later on. And the fact that you're not leaning and going with the challenge and accepting it now, it's going to even be harder later because you're going to be older, your patience is going to be shorter. You're going to have even more. The way you deal with it now is by facing it. And I'm finna get ready and go to that after I finish these. I'm going back and forth. The more you run from your calling, the more God gonna make it where you have to call on Him. We all have callings. We all have things. The more you try to run from, I ain't gonna go to church. The more you try to run from that inner feeling of God talking and touching you, the more you try to run from the reality of worrying what other people think, the more you try to run from spreading His gospel and His word, the more you try to run from making sure you're different and separate yourself from others, the more you try to run from focusing on having a group of friends instead of focusing on a group of friends being able to know what you're supposed to do, what you don't supposed to do in life, the more you focus on things that can't help you out in life, the more you focus on, I want to be, I want to enjoy instead of be happy. Those are two different things. You can enjoy something at the moment, but you could be happy in life. You can enjoy going out, etc. But you could be happy at having fun with this. You have to know the difference. The more you want to focus on the wrong because you think it's the right, the longer it's gonna take, the more you're gonna have to call on him, the more you go deal with certain things that you can prevent from. Now, stop focusing on what you want and focus on what could help you. I don't know what y'all want, and I don't know what could help y'all. The only thing I could say is I know I'm going through something that is focusing on what I want instead of focusing on what can help me. I went through something for the last few weeks on focusing on what I want. Focusing on what I want jeopardized my my conscience, my life, my mental, my happiness because I focused on what I want. Instead of focusing on what could help me was figuring out why the people are in my life or why I'm feeling this way or why I am forced to do this or why I'm feeling like I have to do this, which will lead to my calling and my purpose for this person, whether or these people or this job for the season that I am in. certain seasons, of course, go in, certain seasons gonna be lifelong. But I have to realize that I have to focus on what could help me instead of focusing on what I want. Jumping back over here, it said at times you will find that submitting yourself to the Lord authority will involve choices that could result in rejection, loss, and hardship. Sometimes we be afraid to dedicate and listen to God because of who we might lose, who we might be rejected from, or the hardship of life. Uh, Sometimes people throw out there at me, we don't need you preaching and we don't need them type of word of encouragement. We want you here. We want you to do this. We want you to do that. But you telling me what you don't need, but God has put it in my spirit on what I should be doing. So I could go off what you say and disrespect or disobey God, and now He's basically punishing me or teaching me that His word is the mind word. So now when people say, "Oh, I don't need you to," and then I used to feel some type of way. I used to feel like, "What you mean you don't need me to speak about God? What you mean you don't need me to minister? What you mean you don't need me to give you these type of words of encouragement?" But that don't be the person saying it. It be them out of anger and being annoyed, or the enemy of their spirit trying to stir up my angels in mind and what God want me to do. And I had to look at, I can't be mad at them. I just got to do my part right then and there that God want me to do, and then allow God to show them that those words that came out of my mouth was to encourage and to motivate them. So with them saying they don't need this, they don't need that, it's someone out there that need those words. And right then and there, it had to be you that need those words because he put it on my spirit and heart to give you those words. So not only is you telling me you don't need it, you basically telling the Lord that you don't want to hear his testimony or his encouragements or his words to help you get through things because you so focused on yourself or your inner self or your ego and pride that you're not paying attention to the message he trying to relate to you through someone to give you the energy or the faith to keep going. I hope y'all understood that. The last point, however, excuse me, y'all, between sinuses and allergies, however difficult your circumstances may be, respond to them with confidence in the one who empowers you to do his will. Has God ever made a mistake, been too late, or proven inadequate? No. We go through stuff and we weary, and then when we at our lowest, boom, something happened. While this book was out, my coaching check was late. I was down to maxing out my credit card. I had maybe $35 on my debit card. It wasn't payday, and I had to borrow money. I had to do this and that. I even had to take my daughter and stuff on a family trip with budgeting. And soon as it was a morning, son just said, check your account, and my coaching check had hit. And I felt relieved. But he wanted me to trust him. And at times I doubted. I was worried because I was down to the last dollar, worrying about materialistic things. We worry about money so much. We worry about being financially or spending a dime, a dollar, where that is materialistic. And we know God gonna make a way, or He gonna put somebody in the right position, or He gonna make a way where we go get it when we need it. We be so focused on all these materialistic things that we don't focus on Him enough. We don't focus on His courage, His life, His touch, His circumstances, the way He put things in our life. And the last thing, we're going back and forth. What's up, cuz?
What year is it?
At the car?
They say it was snacks.
Nah, they ain't there.
I ain't sleep. You know what I'm talking about?
Miss Burks got them.
For real. I'm talking about it's a tied up bag with snacks in it.
It ain't there. The last thing. And this just off GP. Yeah, I see how I was using the message and I kind of got interfered. the last thing would be with breaking down how to evaluate life in steps. When certain things are placed in our life, we tend to run the things that help us out away, run the things that God has helped us out with, run them away by frustration instead of enjoyment. We have to accept those things. Happy Tuesday.
You doing podcast?
I'm done.